Hello everybody, welcome to the group chat with Lord McInally and Sam Rosbottom from Betfair. And Sam, look, we have to wish a happy 68th birthday to Alan this week as well. It's a big birthday. Al, did you get everything that the birthday Santa Claus was requested?
Hey, I got new golf shoes from my daughters, which was sensational because, to be honest, it's normally Dad, can I have? And that's the only thing I've actually been given in the last 5 or 6 years, so I was flabbergasted. I think it's the fact that I am 58 that they've actually sent me something thinking, big man's nearly gone. We better get him something.
He's been 58 for the last 7 years, Sam.
Yeah.
Look, on to business. Okay, I want to start, guys, by talking about İlkay Gündoğan. I am a massive, massive fan of İlkay Gündoğan. I'm not just jumping on the bandwagon. He was Pep's first signing in 2016. I loved what he did at Dortmund under Klopp. And look, and in Germany, he played much further forward, didn't he? He did play in that 8 role a lot more, and he's been more of a 6 at City, and he's been injured, and the contract situation has been sort of hanging over him. He's in the form of his life right now, right? He scored 11 goals for City this season, 9 in the Premier League. He's 30 years old, Sam. And look, I was speaking to Raphael Honigstein the other day, and he was saying that everyone in Germany thinks that he is their best player right now. I mean, he is single-handedly dragging City to this Premier League title, isn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's made me totally eat my words, to be honest with you, because at the start of the season and last season, you know, I wasn't his biggest fan, but I think he's Manchester City's most important player at the minute, certainly. Back in January to win the Player of the Year, he was as big as 28-1, now into 17-2 for the PFA Player of the Year awards. He's got a tough task still, though, because Bruno Fernandes is the favourite at 5-4. You know, we all know what impact Bruno Fernandes has had for Manchester United, but I'd go so far as to say that, you know, look at this run that Manchester City's on. İlkay Gündoğan is having a similar impact that Fernandes is having at Manchester United, but with Manchester City. So, you know, his odds now 17-2, and if he carries on, I can see them only getting shorter.
Can you see that, Al? Can you see him winning PFA Player of the Year?
I mean, his odds reflect he's obviously becoming, you know, he's getting the attention his performances should be getting, to be honest. I mean, I remember him big time when he was at Nuremberg, for God's sakes. And he did really well at Nuremberg. And it was the way he played at Nuremberg got him the move to Dortmund, because he played so much further forward and he was ghosting into positions and scoring goals. And people are like, who's this guy? Who's really, genuinely? And then he went to Dortmund, did exactly the same thing. And there's one other big thing about İlkay Gündoğan, when maybe he wasn't a starter at Man City. Pep's never said he's for sale, or, you know what I mean? I don't ever think that Pep had said to him, there's no future here at Manchester City, because I think he knew how good a football player he was. And it was just, with all the good players that Man City have got, is kind of really getting him in the team. Now he's got in the team and he's on his run and he's away. To win, it's a big ask. I think Fernandes will win the Sports Writers of the Year. And I think calling the Player of the Year is difficult this year just because of the way the circumstances is. But listen, hey, you know, Sam just told us he was 1,000,000-1 3 months ago, and now he's like, whatever he is, 10s, 8s, whatever. But he's certainly going to be he'll be in the top 5, I would sure. But to win it, it's going to be tough. There's still a lot of football to be played before the end of the season.
Listen, the pressure is mounting on Mr. Jose Mourinho, which is quite incredible, guys, isn't it really, given that Tottenham were banging the title race not that long ago, just around Christmas. Pep versus Jose is always fascinating. Manchester City against Tottenham. I'm going to this one on Saturday at the Etihad. Head-to-head, right? Have a listen to this. So they've played 24 games against each other. Pep leads the way with 11 wins. There have been 6 draws, and Jose has won 7 of them. And I was figuring this one out earlier. This is quite interesting. Pep, 8 league titles in his career, right? Of course, with Barcelona, with Bayern Munich, and now with Manchester City. 2 Champions League trophies. Jose Mourinho, 8 league titles, 2 Champions League trophies. They're sort of head-to-head, exactly, you know, on the dot. And, I mean, who is the ultimate GOAT, Sam? Who is the ultimate GOAT? And when we're sort of grey and old, and I know Al is already there, how are we going to look back on these two?
Yeah, look, I think both of them are serial winners, aren't they? Both have two different styles. Mourinho's done it at a number of different clubs. You could argue that with Mourinho doing it at, you know, lesser clubs, if you like. No disrespect to the likes of Porto, but he certainly made his way through the ranks. Pep Guardiola's obviously had the likes of Barcelona, Bayern Munich, Manchester City. He's not having the best of time at the minute, though. Jose Mourinho. He's now gone favourite in the sack race at 2-1. So the pressure is on Jose Mourinho, and I think this is where we see if he is. We see what he's made of, if you like. But yeah, a lot of pressure on him. He's now gone favourite, and looking at who could potentially replace him at Spurs if he does go. Brendan Rodgers currently the favourite at 5-4.
Al, I know you're a much bigger Pep fan than you are Jose.
You're trying to put words in my mouth.
Yes.
Yeah, I suppose. Having said that, with the where did he go? He won it into Milan, didn't he, Jose? And then I do like both of them. But it's just that Jose frustrates me a lot because when the toys come out the pram, there's toys and there's toys and there's toys. Everything's coming out the pram. Pep's been grumpy. Don't worry about that. But we've seen him in a position where he's been, a little bit narky, a little bit easy to upset in terms of with questions he's had to ask, etc., etc. But there's not much between them. Sam's spot on about their styles for sure, the different styles. But in terms of going to different countries, he didn't win the Champions League with Bayern, and he was expected to. And he's expected to win the Champions League at Man City and hasn't yet done it. So it's going to be a really intriguing one. They must have huge respect for each other. I do like them both. You're only saying I like Pep because you're a Man City fan, but I genuinely think it's just when both of their teams play against each other, it's something to look forward to. But it's really difficult to split them in terms of, like you're talking about, league titles and winning Champions League. They are serial winners. They hate getting beat. That's what I like about both of them.
Al, you having any of that then? 2-1, the favourite to be the next manager to leave with Betfair's Jose Mourinho.
Well, we do these every week, and we try and preempt what's going to happen. But I said to you already, I know he's got to the final against Manchester City, but I think if he doesn't get top four and he gets beat by Everton, I think he'll get the bullet. So yes, I would definitely go to Betfair for 2-1. And I think genuinely the odds kind of reflect, I think, the pressure that's on Jose at the moment, because now, if he doesn't beat City, he has to get top four. And at the moment in time, I don't know. I don't. At the start of next season, Jose Mourinho, I don't think will be the manager of Spurs.
I think he's getting away with it as well a little bit because the fans aren't there, at Spurs. Could you imagine if the Spurs fans were at the stadium, they'd certainly be vocal.
At the same time, Sam, do you not think not necessarily the pressure, but the expectancy is heightened almost because of no fans? Because everybody's watching the telly now and everybody's seeing everything all the time, and it's been constantly down there. So there's a kind of both ways to look at it, but there's a definite, you're right. There would be boos at half time if they're losing the game, if you know what I mean. And I've said to you before, and I'll say it again, no Kane in the team, and it shows you how important it was the other night. We're getting the acca up midweek with Everton winning, and they bring Kane on, and I was like, no, we're not, because he's going to score, and of course he does. No Kane, they have no chance of getting top four. He needs to stay fit, and that's the only way I think maybe it'll keep Jose in a job.
Yeah, big game, isn't it, for Jose at the weekend? Manchester City flying and Tottenham lingering in 8th position in the Premier League. Right, guys, Leicester against Liverpool. Leicester, okay, 3rd in the table, 3 points above Liverpool, with Chelsea lurking ominously just outside of the Champions League spots. I mean, you look at Liverpool's recent form, it's horrendous, isn't it? When you think how good they have been, how fantastic they've been over the last, 18 months, 2 years. Liverpool have won 3 of their last 11 games, 5 defeats in that run. And you just know, don't you, Al, with this one, Brendan Rodgers, pied off by Liverpool. And you look at last season, they just missed out on the last day in terms of Champions League in that Manchester United game. And their form dipped, didn't it, after the lockdown. But they're flying this season. Vardy's back. They've even got Ian Acca scoring goals when Vardy's not in the team. In terms of top 4 chances, now, if I was to say to you, Al, out of the Leicester that's been going in the last 2-3 months and Liverpool, who's more likely to get in those top 4 places?
Wow. Well, obviously Leicester, because they've been flying. And Vardy's had, I was going to say a little break, but it was an enforced break because it was a hernia operation he had. The young lad, is it James Justin? I think he got injured the other night there. Yeah. That would be a bit of a blow for them. Although, to be fair, and I've said to you before on our group chat, I like Pereira, the Portuguese. Is a Portuguese Brazilian boy that played. They got injured,
and they've got Castagna as well. So they've got reinforcements, haven't they?
Yeah, they have. Listen, it's a tough one to call. I mean, I still have a soft spot for Klopp and his Liverpool team, and they haven't been anywhere near. I think this will actually tell us. This result actually the weekend will tell us who will maybe finish top four, or more likely to finish top four. And I'm loath to rule Liverpool out of it. Well, as good as form as Leicester have been in. Remember, as much as the pressure is on Liverpool to make sure they get to the top four now, because the title looks as if it's gone, there is a heap of pressure on Leicester to try and break into the top four because they didn't manage it last year. So there's a couple of imponderables there, but it'll be a good game. But I think this might tell us exactly who's going to get to the top four, to be honest.
Yeah, it's massive, Sam, isn't it? And in terms of odds, what's that looking like for those Champions League spots?
Yeah, it is absolutely massive. You look at the start of the season, Liverpool were 1-25 to finish into the top four. They're now 1-4. So whilst there's still odds on, you can see that those prices, those odds have gone out huge, massively. Interesting as well, we've seen quite a lot of money on the to finish outside the top four market on Liverpool. Now, they were around 5-1 just a couple of weeks ago. They're now into 11-4 to finish outside the top four. So, huge movement there on that market, and a sign of the times really for Liverpool at the moment. Leicester started the season at around 9-2. They touched as big as 10-1 to finish in the top four. They're now even money, and I think they get that win at the weekend, then I'm sure that even money won't be around for long.
What makes it an intriguing game, Al, is that the teams who Liverpool have struggled against are the strugglers, and Leicester are certainly not strugglers, and Leicester will come at Liverpool, which could play into their hands. Yeah,
that's exactly what I was thinking. In terms of, even if I was having a bet, I think I might still just side with the Reds rather than Leicester. I mean, I'm sorry for looking away, but I brought the table up just to remind myself. I mean, the Leicester's third, Liverpool's fourth. Okay, Chelsea are chasing them, they've got a new manager. West Ham have done brilliant, so have Everton. There is a possibility, actually, that both of them can get top four, and they can keep everybody at arm's length and both sneak in there. But I think at the weekend, when I am, I look at the teams what's playing, I can see myself having a tenner on Liverpool out winning the game, maybe draw no bet rather than put it on Leicester, to be honest, for the simple reason that, like I said to you before, I think there's a little bit more pressure on Leicester to try and get to the top four. Not necessarily, not that's stupid, I'll take that back, I've just said. There's obviously pressure on Liverpool, but because of last season, I think there's the expectancy on Leicester is getting more and more and more and more, especially when they're in this position again, playing so well, and if they don't make it, they'll be like, I can't understand why they haven't managed to make it top four again.
In a word, to finish this off, Sam, who's going to win at the King Power?
Well, if you look at it,
well, Sam, get a neck on the block.
Value: Leicester 5-2, Liverpool 11-10. So that's my word. In a word, value.
Okay, I'm going Leicester. Al?
I'll take £10 off both of you. Liverpool are a good thing in Saturday, at the weekend, brother.
Look, on a much more serious note, we've heard the awful news that's come out of Jurgen Klopp's camp, and with his mother dying, Elizabeth, at the age of 81, and there was a lot of talk, wasn't there, about him getting snappy with journalists, etc., which you can absolutely fully understand with the things that have been going on behind the scenes. He says he's absolutely devastated, and more so, Al, that he can't actually get out to Germany for the funeral, for Elizabeth's funeral, which is just absolutely heartbreaking. And there is never a time where it's, easy to deal with losing your mother, is there?
Listen, I'm fortunate. Mum's still alive. My mommy goes, and I couldn't be able to be there. I don't know. I really don't know. It's one of the, we laugh and joke of all the questions we ask together, and we take the mick out of each other, and we try to pick the winners. The circumstances he's in at the moment, I can't even begin to understand where he is in his head. The snappiness at reporters, yeah, maybe that was part of it, but his team's not doing as well. But you can understand his thoughts being completely elsewhere. And now he's in a situation that I genuinely can't even begin to understand. And the world is just not, at the moment in time, allowing him to be where he wants to be. And that's really sad, to be honest.
Yeah. And look, I guess the positive out of this, Sam, is that he's got a group of players there who are his family and have been through absolutely everything with him. And they will be fighting even more now for their manager at a time where they really need to.
Yeah, absolutely. They'll be determined to rally around Jurgen Klopp and support him, and do everything they can. And I think things like this really put it into perspective that there are things out there a lot bigger than football.
Yeah, big love to Jurgen Klopp.
Absolutely.
Right, guys, acca time. Okay, I mean, we didn't read the small print, Al, did we, last time? Because we thought we'd won an FA Cup midweek acca. I was celebrating. I was sending you pictures of champagne on WhatsApp, and it had to be in 90 minutes. But Everton, who you chose, which was a great shout, Everton to beat Tottenham at Goodison Park. And we had all the other ones. We had Swansea. You even had Brentford winning at Reading in the Championship. But that's done. We have to forget about it. Okay, so onwards and upwards. As always, because Manchester City have now won 15 on the bounce, I'm going to choose Manchester City to beat Tottenham. So we should have some all right odds with that. This is still Tottenham we're talking about.
I just keep this bit of paper, Sam, all the time. What price is for City? 1 to 40.
I keep picking winners out. And okay, this one is within 90 minutes. It has to be done and dusted within 90 minutes, thankfully. Right. So City to beat Tottenham. And then here's my other shout, okay, because there are some tricky ones. And we're looking at 3 p.m. onwards on Saturday. I'm going to go for Aston Villa, Al's old boys, to win at Brighton, who are playing really, really well. Brighton, and I think they have done all season. They've played some fantastic football, but now the results are starting to come. So I'm hoping for some nice odds on that one. Villa away at Brighton and City at home to Spurs, Sambo.
Yeah, so let's start with Manchester City again. Odds on favourites, no surprise. 3-10 to beat Jose Mourinho's Spurs, who are 17-2 to go to the Etihad and frustrate Pep Guardiola, which we've seen Mourinho do in the past. This is a fixture where Mourinho has had the better of Guardiola recently. The draw 9-2 as well. Looking at the Brighton Aston Villa game, I think this is going to be a really good game to watch. Touch wood, because both teams like to play that open attacking football. Brighton 7-4, Aston Villa 6-4 to win. The draw 23-10. Interesting though, Brighton are on a good unbeaten run at the minute. So Aston Villa around 6-4. We'll see how that one goes.
Yes. So Al, as you messed up last week again, you're back down to the Championship, sunshine, even though it was your birthday this week.
I know, yeah, exactly. And I'm delighted you've gone for Villa, because I think they're a tasty price, genuinely at 64 with Betfair. Okay, I'm going to go. There's a team, my pal's taken over, Mick McCarthy. What they won, 2 at the last 3 or 3 at the last 4. Good form at home against Coventry, who are neat and tidy, but they'll have too much for them, Cardiff. And Mick's got them in a good place at the moment, in good form. And the other one I'm going to go for is a team that really look as though they're destined for the Premier League. And I'm going to go Swansea to go to Chef Wed. Chef Wed have had a couple of decent results lately, to be fair, and picked up maybe 2 at the last 4 or something. But Swansea are absolutely flying, and they're away from home, and I can see them doing the business again. So I'm going to go Cardiff at home to Coventry and Swansea at Chef Wed, Sam.
Yeah, like you said, Cardiff, turned the corner and showing some good form at the minute, unbeaten in 4, won the last 2. They're even money to beat Coventry, who are 14-5. The draw 12-5 there. Swansea are in a sort of little mini battle at the minute with Norwich, aren't they, for that automatic spot. Brentford look like they're running away with it in the Championship at the minute, playing really good football. Swansea, again, even money to go to Sheffield Wednesday and win. Sheffield Wednesday 29-10 and the draw 9-4 there. So all in all then, the fourfold, Manchester City, Aston Villa, Cardiff and Swansea all to win. 12-1.
Lovely, jubbly. Look, I tell you what, good. Sam, he keeps picking his friends. He keeps picking Steve Bruce and Chris Wilder. He needs to get friends with Pep Guardiola.
Oh, man. I'm not betting City at 1-40. I can't do it.
You were the first one that told me, Al, a 1-4 winner is better than a 10-1 loser.
Listen, a 1,000,000-1 loser is rubbish when you can have a 1-40 winner. Listen, 12-1, by the way, thanks Betfair. I'm sure we'll probably get 14s maybe.
We'll see what we can do.